Hey guys, what's going on? This is Guns with 3 Guns Down as always. Today we're going to take a look at the Division, skills, talents, and perks. Now, there was a reason I actually held back on this video for a little bit, because I thought something like this would happen, and it did in fact happen. Somebody did in fact leak or was told the perk tree for the Division, and since then it's been spread like wildfire, which is why I held off on it. I actually have that, all the perks that you can unlock today for viewing on a website. I'll show that to you at the end of the video, as well as how to get them. We're also going to go over the abilities and the modification system and how that works on them. Now the really cool thing is when you're looking at this, you can see the attributes, and it tells you the type, range, duration, critical hit chance, critical hit damage, and cooldown of every single ability and how the modifications change that ability. Your skill power, which you see in the upper right hand corner, also affects your skills. Now, if you look at this from a really basic kind of standpoint, from what I played in the Division, I feel like Medical is going to be your support healer classes, Technical is going to be your DPS or CC based classes, crowd control based classes, and then Security is going to be your very tank based classes, because it's a lot about deployable cover, drawing aggro, ballistic shields, things like that. So unlike Destiny, where some classes only seem to have DPS roles, and some classes, for instance the Hunter, and some classes only seem to have minor support roles, no one was really tanky, it was just all to do damage, but they each had their own situational kind of stuff. It seems like this game is really built and fleshed out to kind of be like, okay, you're taking most of the damage because you have this cover, you have this ballistic shield, you have this, and you're going to be the healer because you have this pulse that detects enemies, you have this healing ability that's an AoE heal ability, you guys are going to be DPS because you have sticky bombs and you have turrets and you have roller balls. So it seems like you can really build out a class to be specifically DPS, specifically healer, specifically crowd control, specifically tanky, and I think people are starting to realize this game's really going to feel like a first-person shooter MMO in the classic sense of having classes, and I love this because I really enjoy seeing the twist on the first-person shooter with RPG elements added to it, because I like RPGs, I like first-person shooters. I'm getting tired of the old mantra of sword and board, wizards and warlocks and knights of RPGs. Why can't we apply RPGs to different settings? And this is exactly what the Division's doing, which is why I'm growing more excited for it each day. I'm really trying not to get over optimistic for it, because if it's bad, you're going to be let put down pretty hard there. I don't think it's going to be bad. From everything I've seen right now, it looks fantastic. And I really can't wait for it. But here we can see, the ballistic shield. You can see the different modifications you can apply to it and how it changes the total health of ballistic shield here. Like this one has 13,910. This one has 9,273. And this is also augmented by your skill power, which you'll gain more of as you get into later game gear. So the more skill power you have, the more you're going to do, the more damage you can absorb, the more you can heal. So your skill power may play a much bigger role in how you play your class and your character. Of course, firearms also increases your damage of your main weapons and your DPS. So there's going to be some balancing. There'll definitely be some min-maxing. This is really becoming like an RPG type, where the loot does seem like completely... The loot, from my experiences, is completely random at the moment. It's going to be really interesting to see if it stays that way, so that you're going to constantly try to go for that best piece of min-maxing, which is what leads to some longevity in MMOs in that fashion. Now, modifications also change the abilities and how they work drastically, or how they work in just slight ways. The rest of the abilities that weren't in the beta were the turret, the smart cover, which is more of a tanking ability, the support station, again a support ability, Seeker Mind, a DPS ability, a mobile cover, again more of a tanky ability, and then these are your mastery abilities, Recovery Link, Tactical Link, and then the last one was Survivor Link. And I have no idea what these do. They all apparently do different things. Maybe one increases your armor for the party. They're like ultimates is what it seems like. You can see that middle slot Q and E is your 1 and 2 ability basically, but then that middle one's going to be your mastery ability, which is your link ability. Maybe it increases damage for the whole party, or gives heals for the whole party constantly, or reduces incoming damage, who knows. But they also have modifiers, the 3 base ones, and then the mastery one. Now, of course, talents, they were not in the beta. We didn't technically get any talents in the beta, but it does seem like there are 4 slots. There's a perk that allows you to take a 5th slot talent. And you unlock these talents as you go. You can see it on there, it says next slot unlocks at level 15, and we've already got 1 unlocked. So I'm guessing 10, 15, 20, and 25 would be where you unlock your 4. Or they may space it out farther than that, who knows. But there is a perk that allows you to take an extra talent. Now, like I was saying earlier, talents or perks were not in the game. We got one, we knew what it did. It was this one that gave you the +1 medkit to your inventory slot. But we didn't actually see any in the game. So this is where this comes in, the Division perk list and how to unlock them. This was posted by Lazy Gamers, I'm guessing. I don't pay attention to their site. haven't visited very often. But they basically posted this, which is an entire comprehensive list of what seems to be the perks. And I'm not sure where, let's see. They don't cite where they got this information from, so this could be completely false and just a puff piece to get attention towards them, but let's assume not. It seems pretty accurate and reliant as to what these perks could actually do, so let's start off with the Medwing perks. We already know what one of them does. Player receives an extra medical slot in their inventory for an additional medkit. Then protective measures, virus protection rating increased by 1, allowing players to enter higher level contamination areas. And then it has requirements also down below, like the virus lab, the hazmat suit, pharmacy upgrades to the medical wing. I'll put this link down below for you guys if you guys want to check this out. This is the entire perk list here. We'll go over a few of them that I think are kind of interesting. There's the consumables, they allow you to increase the duration on them, including explosive bullets, incendiary bullets, and all the food items you can consume that gives you buffs. Some of the things that I found more interesting was you can get items from supply lines. So this was, you know, food, soda, water. There's incendiary bullets and explosive bullets done that you can get from a supply line. It shows you every contaminated area on the world map's visible. You get an additional slot for your dark zone, and each one of these has an additional slot for your dark zone, so you can have up to 9 dark zone slots, which I think is actually pretty nice when you're extracting that much gear. Medical Wing produces fabric-based materials every 60 minutes, and each one of these produces different materials, so if you're having a hard time gathering material, scavenging material to do the crafting out in the world, then you won't have nearly as hard of a time once you get to these upgrades, because it'll start doing it for you. So there is a way that you don't have to constantly farm this stuff and go out there to get some of this material, which is really nice. You get a 10% increase amount to credits that you earn. You also get an increase to Dark Zone credits. This is the one that allows you to have an additional talent here. Dark Zone inventory slots, Division tech materials can be made into other materials into your local crafting station. So you can take Division tech into other crafting materials if you're missing certain ones. Division Wing produces crafting materials every 60 seconds. Engineer. That's where the buffs, effective consuming soda, 10 seconds, and water, 10 seconds. Tech Wing produces tool-based crafting materials. You know, there was one here that I thought was particularly visible, or particularly interesting, rather. Item stat switching in the recalibration station is available to the player. So what is this? Well, I can't tell you for certain, but I can make a pretty damn accurate guess. It's called a hypothesis, scientific guess. You know, we do that in school. So, item stat switching. This obviously allows you to change stats on an item that you get at the recalibration station. And I'm guessing that the recalibration station is just used to tune an item basically to the stats that you want, where you can reroll it to get the stats that you want. Now, will you be able to pick and choose, okay, I want this stat to this? Like, for instance, I want hipfire into accuracy. I don't know. Or, you know, accuracy into stability. Or is it going to take that one you don't like and randomly roll it for you into whatever kind of stat could also be there? Not sure of that, but it will allow you to change the stats somehow on the items that you get, which I think is particularly interesting and could make min-maxing a little bit easier for the players. You get a overall stash increase by 10, that's pretty nice. You gain additional grenade slots. This one's interesting. It could be interesting or it could be dumb. Advanced weaponry. Advanced weapons can be bought from the Security Wing weapons vendor. Now, by advanced, does it mean like, oh, we can buy blue and purple items now, or we can buy some high-end weapons now? That's what it just could mean. Or by advanced, does it mean like there's some specific kind of unique class of weapon, like advanced type future tech weaponry or division tech weaponry specifically? We're not entirely sure, but I think that's pretty interesting, and you'll be able to buy it in the security wing. I personally think it probably just means we're going to be able to buy purples and maybe yellows, high-ends, and superior weapons. Black market vendor, dark zoned fund purchases available from your base of operations. So that means you remember the vendors at the kiosks that you went in at the dark zone entrances? That'll now be in your base, and you can buy from them as well. And they'll probably more than likely have a different inventory than the one at the front of the dark zone. So you'll have multiple rolls on dark zone inventory that people were using beforehand to try to get the best dark zone stuff. Most of the rest of the stuff is pretty basic. Security wing, weapon-based crafting, scavenger box locating securing produces material, incendiary bullet effect increase. And when I first read this one, I was like, oh, this is interesting, but it's not that interesting. The player has an ability to collect special ammo types, and I was like, ooh, special ammo types, like, but it's just including incendiary and explosive bullets. Although, it does say including incendiary and explosive bullets. It could only be telling us that because that's all we know of right now. There could be more than incendiary and explosive. There could not be. We don't know. This one was really cool, and I'm super fucking happy this is in the game. Player can access a shooting range where weapons can be tested. Thank fuck. Like, I don't know how long people have been asking in Destiny to have a shooting range where we can test weapons. And the Division's like, we're just going to do it out of the gate. It's funny, I look at this game, and it's like a lot of the things that I see are like, this was kind of on the wish list and has been on the wish list of players in Destiny for a long time. And the fact that Destiny still hasn't got around to it, and the Division's been delayed for 3 fucking years and gets around to it before Destiny does, is fucking hilarious. And this... dropping the ball, Bungie. Dropping the freaking ball, man. Lastly, the intel discovery shows you all the intel on the map, and collector increases your overall scavenging by 15%, so if you're picking up materials in the world. Guys, that's it for me. If you want to check out this article, link will be in the description below for you guys. It's lazygamer.com/division perks list, blah, 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 blah. You can click it down there. I'm Guns with 3 Guns Down as always. Feel free to like this video if you liked it. Hit the dislike if you disliked it. Tell me why in the comments below so I can always try to improve my videos for you guys. Hit that sub button if you already haven't. I'll always have more content about the Division, Siege, stuff that's fun in general. You can also come watch me play games over at twitch.tv/3gunsdown, where I will of course be streaming the Division because I'm super fucking hyped for this game. I'll also be streaming the upcoming open beta because if you guys don't know, this is the PSA, public service announcement. You will get special items for playing in the open beta. So even if you've played in the alpha and the closed beta, play in this open beta because you will get special in-game items. They didn't clarify what they were. I think they were special suits or whatever. Something along those lines. Oh yeah, there was one last thing. I won't be able to find it here, but I remember it off the top of my head. You'll be able to buy clothes from one of these perks in here. I forget which one. So yeah, you can buy clothes for your character, for your aesthetic, because that's obviously the most important part of the game. We all know looking good in the apocalypse is what matters. Anyway, guys, I'm Guns. I'll see you later. Have a good one, everybody.